Hi, this is Mary Kay's Positivity Podcast. I'm a yoga and meditation teacher and life coach. I'm also author of several self-help books. Hi, everyone. There's a reason why I haven't done a podcast in over a month. I had a tragedy shatter my world. My younger brother, Hugh took his life. Growing up in Richmond, he was easily the most popular guy in town, always kind and inclusive to every group. He could cross all lines, and according to his friends, was the only popular kid that was actually fearless enough to befriend all groups, the nerds, the band members, the goth kids, you name it. He was all about connection. And truly, that's what sets people apart. Life is all about connection. And Hugh was the master at it. There's so much we can learn about his life. How he instantly made people feel comfortable by breaking the ice with his witty humor. How he snickered endlessly. His humor truly broke down walls and made people instantly relax. So why did he, of all people, take his life? It reminds me of Robin Williams. Often those that use humor have something that they're hiding. They just don't want anyone to know that they're suffering. He really kept it a secret from so many of us. I talk to him nearly every day, and his closest friends said that his death was a complete shock. Nobody saw the signs, or did we? And I'm talking about this because it was so stunning to his family that I want people to know what to look for. Because men especially are very quiet about their pain. They don't often seek out help. They have a lot of pride. And providing for their family means everything. And in their way, gains respect from their peers and family members. In today's economy and the high expense of education is causing everyone to feel financially drained. But you just got to believe it's all going to work out, because it is. In the last year, he stopped doing what he loved. No more fishing trips. He stopped taking vacations even. I played tennis with him 2 months before he died, and he was usually super competitive and do these annoying drop shots, and we would laugh all the time through the whole game, but we both wanted to win. And this time, it's like he didn't care. He was non-competitive. He was quiet. The game ended, and I thought, maybe he doesn't like tennis anymore. I just didn't understand the change. A lot of people might say, oh, when you get older, things change. You don't like that as much. But I disagree. I think that as we age, we should fall in love with new things, like things even more. I took him to dinner with friends, and he was normally gregarious, but they commented on how quiet he was. He was not a quiet man. But he started to worry incessantly about finances and college debt. He was struggling in relationships and just didn't have anyone to talk to but me. And that's never enough. You need a professional, someone who can share other solutions. We talked about his stressors, and even so, he kept some of the details from me because he didn't want to disappoint me. You edit your stories depending on who you're talking to. And with a therapist, you don't edit. You don't care her opinion, usually. Like his job, he didn't tell me how much he hated his job. He went into finance because he thought that would pay the bills. That would allow his kids to go to private school, live in a nice neighborhood, be able to get into college. But his heart was always in entrepreneurship. He started companies in college, like a floor refinishing company and a roofing business once. And he'd hire all his friends and his fraternity brothers. That was what he loved doing, creating, and his relentless work ethic just took over. And he was able to sell that company for a decent amount. But he went with something he thought was safe instead of something he would love. And I think that there are a lot of lessons that we can learn from his short life. One thing he did towards the end of his life was help those less fortunate. And he got involved with Team Rubicon. This is a remarkable charity that helps people that are going through disasters, helps give them relief. So he would go to Florida when they had all the hurricanes, and he would help rebuild homes and take down trees, take a week off from work to help a group of people so that they weren't suffering. I think it bought him time. He also worked in a soup kitchen, and he would light up when he would call me and tell me the funny stories about all the homeless people he met. And I kept finding myself saying, I want to come, I want to come. He just had a way with people and helping them all know he cared, which is ironic that he didn't find help for himself. Do what you love. What are your passions? And if you don't know, start signing up for things to figure it out. Start reading biographies about people in different industries and see what resonates. But do the work. Don't just aimlessly fall through life thinking it's just going to happen to you. Take the steps to really plan your life. There's a great book titled Design Your Life, and it's written by 2 Stanford professors. And it's all about how you can plan your entire life, just like they would go through planning product design. They took all the steps that they learned in their product design work and applied it to real life. It became the most popular course taught at Stanford that they decided to write a book about what they taught because nobody could ever get into the course. So start with a book like that to really help figure out what would make you happiest. Connect with people. He was the greatest connector. But in the end, he started to avoid me. Just in the last week or two, I kept calling him, and he would call back, but it was short conversations. And of course, always ask for help. Hugh was the best little brother you could ever have. He was beloved. He worried incessantly, but not until the end of his life. He was actually really carefree. And I think that's what's hard, to see when people change over time and they start taking life too seriously. I think little problems started to become huge to him. In the last month, someone slammed him from behind, and the kid was texting on his phone. That accident caused his car to be totaled. So now he had another expense. He needed to buy a new car, but they barely gave him any money for his totaled car. All because some kid was texting. And then his insurance company said, oh, it's partially your fault. And he's thinking, nobody told me that. It was 100% his fault. So then he had to debate with the insurance company. Anytime you're hit from behind, of course it's their fault. I was sitting at a stop sign. But that whole process just felt overwhelming to him, where we might look at it and say, Oh, it's a fender bender. Get over it. It was the last final trigger in a series of disappointments that he kept all to himself. Suicide is the 11th leading cause of death, and 3.9 times more men die of suicide than women. White males account for 70% of suicides, and firearms account for 55% of all deaths. 94% of adults believe suicide can be prevented. And I do believe if a lot of us had talked, a lot of family members and friends in the last month, if we had all shared our small stories, maybe we would have put it together. He had locked himself in a room in the last 2 weeks, barely coming out. He went to work and then he'd come home and lock himself in the room. He had stopped watching his favorite shows. He stopped going to parties. This is the most gregarious guy, not wanting to go hang out with his friends. That's highly unusual. Suicide rates by age, 24 years old to 34 years old is up to almost 20%. And 75 to 84 years old is almost 20%. Middle age is the highest rate. So that bracket between 35 and 75 is the highest rate of suicide. In the end, the suicide death is due to illness, not malice or weakness. Hugh was a gentle soul. He was an honest, courageous man. He was sensitive and emotionally crushed. People who die of suicide die against their will. I believe they don't want to be a burden and erroneously think they are helping their families. I truly believe Hugh thought that this would end his pain, end the pressure that he felt. But he broke a lot of hearts in the process. And ultimately, he's responsible. I felt a lot of guilt from his death. I talked to him all the time. How did I not know? Why couldn't I hear it in his voice? I help people get out of their head and eliminate anxiety. I work with people that are depressed. I know this world, and yet I couldn't help him either. I wanted to tell you what some of the suicide warning signs are because I didn't know until this happened. The warning signs of suicide are indicators that a person may be in acute danger and urgently need help. They might look for a way to kill themselves. Talk about feeling hopeless or having no purpose. Talk about feeling trapped or being in unbearable pain. Talk about being a burden to others. Increase the use of alcohol or drugs. Act anxious, agitated, or reckless. Sleep too little or too much. Withdraw or feel isolated. Showing rage and talking about seeking revenge and displaying extreme mood swings. Now, my brother didn't check the box on many of these, but he did act anxious and agitated. And he was walking around at night, seemingly up at all hours. He also was a big partier, and I think that getting people to talk about these feelings with a professional is the real answer. Sometimes you may not click with a professional, and they might say, I don't need to go back. It was a waste of money or time. Keep searching for the right person because there are a lot of different personalities that we click with, and it's worth the effort. I'm going to leave you with a quote that I love. It's a quote by Steve Jobs, and I think it has a lot to do with Hugh's experience. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. Your time is limited. So don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. So I'm going to end with a short meditation. So please get in a comfortable position. Relax your body and mind and take a deep breath in, inhaling all that beautiful energy all around you, and exhaling, letting go of worry, expectations, sadness. Inhale and fill your heart and mind with positive thought. Right now, you might find life unbearable, yet every emotion is impermanent. They come and they go, and this insight can really save your life. So just focus your attention on the rise and fall of your breath. The rib cage rises and falls, breathing in and breathing out. And you can visualize a loved one that's passed. Visualize their face. And let's say it's your mother or brother. You can change the words. Breathing in. Brother is breathing in with me. Breathing out. Brother is breathing out with me. My brother breathing in with me. My brother breathing out with me. Breathing in, I'm looking into my brother's eyes. Breathing out, I'm listening with my brother's ears. Breathing in, the loved one's eyes. Breathing out, the loved one's ears. Imagine that you are a wonderful river of life flowing for years and years. Smile and express gratitude for this amazing person's life. Send him love and peace to support him in his journey. You will always have that connection. Speak out loud to this person that you lost. They will hear everything you say. And you can even give them permission to help you, help guide you. They won't interfere unless you ask for help. So ask for help. Ask for help. Trust yourself. Trust God and the universe. They will always make sure everything works out. There is always a solution. Always. And every morning, wake up expressing gratitude for this life. Clear your mind of any negativity. Release the negative thoughts. And then trust that you are well protected. Trust that you have a keen intuition that will let you know what path to take. And look for the signs. Often we ignore the signs. They're like screaming out for us. And then whenever you decide to try something new, trust that you know what you're doing. You are well loved. You are well loved from this person that has left your world. You still have that strong, loving connection. The bond is unbreakable. It's like a cord of energy that nobody can break. They are still very much connected to you. And they are very much present in your life. Sometimes they can do even more from heaven than they ever could on earth. And you need to trust that their journey is peaceful now. And you will meet again. You'll meet again in your dreams. You'll see the signs. Be open to the signs. And you'll meet again where He is. I love you all. Thank you. Namaste.